Hey everyone, welcome to the show, episode 33, Collingwood Draft Chats. So we're going to open up the draft chats for the Pies. Over to you, Pie fans. So let's start. So we're going to talk about the players and the picks that they used to begin with. So pick 32, Tyrron Prinnable. Pick 37, Sam Swalding. Pick 55, Zack McCarthy. Pick 57, Angus Anderson. And also in the rookie draft as a category A from an NGA product is Jai Saxena. So that's the players that they got. We're going to talk about the first player that they got at pick 32, Tyrron Prinnable. I like the look of the lad. I think he's got a bit of William Drew about him. So he's a midfielder slash forward, standing at 181 centimetres. He's a reliable, tidy ball winner with efficient skills and vision, and also in and out of the contest and capable of hitting the scoreboard. Not afraid to hit the scoreboard, kick a few snags. Looks to be pretty well developed type player already. Has a bit of size about him. Looks like he can play an inside midfield type role, but seems to have efficiency on the outside. So yeah, he's taken step by step strides into the competition. The Brisbane Lions Academy prospect came into the season as a relatively unknown, but ended up earning a VFL berth. So debuted in the VFL and was solid in the Academy series and the Coates Talent stints that he performed well. Also with been in the campaign with the under-18s and the midfield form, warranted selection for the Allies in the state under-18s championships. Having been overlooked for one game in the national championships, Prinnable continued to grind away, showing that he had resilience, and when he was called into the game for game 2, he ended up holding his spot with the Allies and moved into the Lions State League team post the championships. There he had 5 consecutive VFL appearances as Brisbane went on to make the semi-finals, including 20 disposals and 6 clearances on his debut. So there you go, a bit of an inside craft work there. Racking up a few touches too, and having 6 clearances in a debut in the VFL, which is quite good. So it's that wasn't the only outstanding debut performance he had. He produced 39 touches and 9 clearances in his QAFL outing for Coorparoo this year, earning the league's Rising Star nomination. He's long been embedded in the Kings senior team, having played 20 games for them in 2024 before he earned a promotion to the QFA Division 1. So yeah, he's obviously played a bit of VFL. He's played his local leagues. Obviously, nearly 40 touches in the local leagues. It's quite good. It's impressive. Obviously, playing some VFL and the semi-finals. So it's not. He's been around and done a bit of development into his game, and playing VFL. And finals, like I said, some players that have played finals, whether it's SANFL, VFL, it's quite a good presentation to have on your resume. So his strengths are clean hands, consistency, efficiency, scoreboard impact, the ability to kick a goal, tackling, and vision. So just lacking a bit of endurance and flair. That's where he needs to improve. But does a guy that's an inside midfielder need a lot of flair? It's just you crash and bash, get the ball out to your outside runners, and off you go. So, the flair one to me is like, if he's good with his efficiency and can kick a goal, how much for flair do you really need? Prinnable has made a name for himself as a reliable ball winner. Handy of points and difference, his inside craft is clean and is able to read the ruck taps quite well. He takes possession without fumbling and also is good at decision making and has his great awareness around the ball, knowing where his teammates are. This is evidenced by his 4.5 clearances in the Coates Talent League. So, yeah, and consistently at QFL and also VFL level. So, close to that 5 mark of clearances on average. So he's able to get in there, get the ball, beating his opponent one-on-one in a contested possession type base game, and then the ability to get the clearance himself. So that's quite impressive. His stoppage craft helps open up other teammates, and also possessing the reliability and also the agility to match and the skill when exiting in and out of a contest. He also made the ability to generate forward and forechain handballs or possessions, producing a give and go type ability, and also tracking the play for his side as the ball surges forward into the 50. In most situations, he lowers his eyes to hit a target when under pressure, and maintains his efficiency away out of the contest when he's running through as a linking player. Another way he impacts is also that defensively. He's averaged 8 tackles per game in the Coates League and 5.7 in the National Championship. So yeah, he's averaging over 5 tackles even at the higher end level for his talent. And I quite like that. I think that's pretty impressive. 8 tackles per game in his local competition at the Coates level. That's pretty impressive. So yeah, not only is he in and under type player, he's happy to tag a player. So yeah, I do see a lot of William Drew about this guy. I think Collingwood, to be fair, for him to be at pick 32 is probably surprising. Could have been a bit higher, maybe in the 20s, if not higher, because he's got a good resume. Obviously, the teams, the Allies didn't finish quite higher, but I like that he's got the background of some VFL and doing quite well in the Coates League. So his ability to hit the scoreboard has a bit of hurt factor. He isn't the most striking prospect in the way of flair or X factor, but what do you need? He is your in and under tackler. Tacklers aren't supposed to have the flair. He's there to do the dirty work and get his hands dirty. So, yeah, he suits the mold of a non-fuss, very efficient, natural type footballer, and being able to feed the ball to other players and teammates. So, yeah, he's a team player, so he's capable of performing that role and puts the team first. Much like I see what William Drew's like. He's a very well-liked man at Adelaide. So I think you got yourself a guy that will be well-liked, Collingwood. And yeah, he does it reliably, maintaining a steady level from week to week. He's so quite reliable, so it's just not one-off games. He's consistently very well-rounded. And on top of that, he enhances his ability to hurt opposition. He continued to develop into a contest running type player, and yeah, looks to become a great accumulator of the ball. He ran a 6:48 2K time trial at the National Draft Combines. By no means poor, but shows he can continue to build on his running tank and his strength. So yeah, it's obviously you need to run out a game in the AFL. So he seems like he's still got some endurance to work on, but to be fair, an inside midfielder, they're not always going to have the biggest tanks, but it's more about their explosiveness away from the contest and also beating their player one-on-one. He's going to tackle the guys, so I mean, this guy doesn't need as much running per se. If he's going to tackle the player, it's going to stop the ball and the momentum. The more he tackles, the less he's got to run, essentially. So I like that. This guy's good. It's got a pretty much. He looks like he's filled out a bit for his age already, and he looks pretty good. So we're going to talk about Sam Swalding now. West Perth. Midfielder, standing at 189 centimetres, so a little bit of height on him, not too bad, decent size. He's one of the draft's best accumulators, boasting elite efficiency, which allows tirelessly work to be a threat at each contest. The title of this year's most consistent accumulator arguably belongs to Sam Swalding. The West Perth midfielder put his name in the lights when he went on a three-game run of consecutive 40 disposals. Essentially peaking at the Waffle Colts with 47 disposals, Swalding never dropped below 23 touches and averaged around 35.4 disposals per game. At the end of the Colts season for West Perth, he was also prevalent at each level each week that he took out the Falcons' Best and Fairest awards of just after playing the 7 games. So he was clearly the best player on the ground. While providing a marking option while resting up forward, Sam was let down by his goal kicking. He finished the season with 5 goals and 15 behind, so obviously needs to work on that. You can't be an A-grade midfielder in the AFL without finishing off the goals. So, all grades in 2020. Scoring shots across all grades in 2025, a step down from his 15 goals, 9 as a bottom major. So, obviously as the players developed, his accuracy and maybe being a bit more under pressure. He gets enough of the ball, which is good. But yeah, Swalding took a little bit of time to come into his own, pushing up the grades, but looked comfortable at both state and local league level. When given the opportunity to present himself to midfielder, is a far cry from his 40 disposal output at the Colts. But Swalding's 8 games at higher levels saw him reach 20 disposals on 5 occasions to go with 4 majors as well. So it's obviously harder. It's still averaging still a good amount of touches. 20 disposals is still pretty good, even going up to the next level. And as he develops into a player, his AFL standard, as he gets older and gets used to it, he should ideally keep going up in the disposal count. He's a bit of the raw side for a midfielder talent in this year's draft. He's shown the ability to adjust at high levels. With the time and growth, he could develop into one of the league's most potent hybrid forward/midfielders. He also earned All-Australian honours as well. So, yeah, he obviously has a bit of talent. He was overlooked by both the Western Australian sides, Fremantle and West Coast. So, yeah, Fremantle made a few. They could easily got this guy. They chose not to. His strengths obviously are accumulation, consistency, endurance, scoreboard threat, size, two-way running. His ball use needs to be worked on, and also impact per possession. That's one that could argue that does he just chew up the possessions and doesn't use it quite well? This is where but still 40 odd touches. You got to be there to get the ball. So he's one of the best in the draft when finding the balls. His early form for Waffle Colts had him racing up the draft boards. The endurance to two-way running are key to stats to his game and account for when he racks up a lot of possessions each week. At the contest, he is adept to winning the possession first and providing option to receive on the outside as well. So he's got the ability to play inside and outside. Great running, tank. He has faced very few matchups that can cover as much of him on the ground, so his ability to get around on the ground is quite impressive. And he finds space and be an open out, link up type player from end to end, whether they're kicking from out of their defense or moving the ball into the forward line. He's also adapted to providing a target when resting forward. His size is quite good, and the strength he has is also a hard matchup for defenders that are that mid-sized to small defender. Allowing to regularly score on the scoreboard, although he did not make the most of it with his inaccuracy, and he is hardly the crash and bash type despite his size. School thought that he may end up being a better forward than a midfielder. So he's a dual position player. And yeah, his size, he needs to probably maybe put the head over the footy a bit and crash and bash. If he adds that into his game, watch out. But yeah, it's highly sought after, those hybrid type forwards and midfielders. For his consistent output, there's a touch of rawness in Swalding's game. He has no trouble finding the ball, but his execution can waver at times, and decision making under pressure. Especially when under pressure, he tends to blaze away or dump the footy out, so he just bombs it out a bit. But there's signs of improvement as the season went on, that he got used to the pressure and cleaned up his possession. So he never lost the determination, or also was second efforts to follow up his poor disposals and impact the next player. And also has a touch of composure and polish as he was developing and playing more games. He has the incredible talent to be a potent player going forward into the future. So, another midfielder that Collingwood have got. He does look a good size. Two sort of players they got that they could probably get ready to play. I don't know if within their first season or not, but potential probably could be there to play if they earn their spot. And also, with the aging midfield that they've got, they're going to have to add in a few young guys to train up and develop. So, and that is that one. I'm going to go on to pick 55, Zack McCarthy. So he's 199 centimeters. He's a ruck / forward. He is a mobile key forward who can be a second ruck with his athletic abilities and traits and wiry frame. Likes a fortune in footy. That happens in the area where Collingwood fans have been crying out for a young key forward and depth player. The next generation prospect, Zack McCarthy, may well land in the Magpies' lap, which he did. So the rangy Oakland Chargers tour has shown equal parts of potential growth during the top age campaign and climbing up the draft boards to be in the top 30 type talent. He looked good. Collingwood, I did say in the trade chats with Collingwood that they need a key forward, especially with Mason Cox no longer being there. And I know they got Buller as well in the trade, but yeah, they need a young guy to develop, and also have a backup ruckman or a forward as the players are getting older. It's just good to have. You obviously need to replace Mason Cox, and this is the guy they got for him. So he began to emerge last year and play some Coates Talent League games alongside older brother Targ. And he made 5 bottom age appearances for Oakland and selected in the Vic Metro Future squad, showing good signs at the under-17 trials. While he missed out on the Metro and Summer Training Hub heading into 2025, opportunities emerged for him to link up with the Pies program in the pre-season. So a bit of training there, getting to know his players and their craft. So 2 promising first-up performances in the Chargers colours help propel McCarthy into a final for Vic Metro squad, where he played a full national championships while he hit the scoreboard in all 4 games. His breakout game came against Western Australia with 3 majors and a convincing win. McCarthy bottleneck and hip niggles, but throughout the championships, post-championships, so a bit of niggles with injuries, but it was nothing major. Also, for the Oakleys quarter-final loss to Sandringham. So, did a bit of Vic Metro, did a bit of Talents Coat League, Coates League. Slid a bit further down in the draft. Obviously, there's a few players that have slipped down a bit further that are big guys. Sorry about that. And also the aerial ability and mobility, reach, scoreboard impact, and upside with his versatility. So that's his strengths. Durability and strength, obviously he's still only young. They're going to be key components that they're going to have to develop him. So I don't think this is going to exactly fix Collingwood's issues straight away with the lack of key forwards that they've got. It's the one spot I feel like the Magpies does need to address. And yeah, this guy's probably going to take time to develop. Maybe, you never know, give him a pre-season. He might put on a bit of weight and get into that role, but they need a player now. And so he's not a finished product, but there's plenty of like about the bloke. He's improved strength over time in the last 2 seasons to put his name on the radar. But most exciting part is he's still got a lot of development ahead of him and has a lot of upside to be a long-term player. Despite the dual position status as a key forward, he also can ruck and likely to be accelerated for his AFL berth. Like I said, mentioned about the Pies. They need that player, so they're gonna have to put a bit of time into this kid, get him right early, and hopefully he can make a debut. McCarthy is still lightly framed. He's a wiry type tall who excels in the air aerially and possesses a great natural weapon in his reach and ability to extend his arms and mark on the ball at the full flight. So yeah, he's been able to make it difficult for players to spoil him because he uses his frame and body well, even for his size. 199 centimetres, quite big. It's allowed him to have a run and jump at the ball, and often the case is featuring in the centre bounces for the ruck. While impactful in the air, something that sets him apart is his agility across the ground. He's the type of tall who looks comfortable in possession, so he's able to look good kicking the ball and run and carry, so that's important to gain another separation from his opponent. So he's able to link up with the smaller players and get in amongst the possessions. Stationed in ruck, he also gets involved like a fourth midfielder and helps set up the attacks through the centre corridor. So they can still use this guy. They think that he's still got the talent to sort of obviously mark the ball in the centre and kick to other midfielders. Running along and being a fourth midfielder is important. Great second efforts by the sound. So yeah, as a forward, he offers a mobile marking target and has proven himself to be a consistent goal kicker. While hardly scoring in bunches, he posted a major in the National Championships games and kicked 4 goals in just the 3 games for Oakley. And it's something he can continue to enhance and fully utilise in his game. But he's in ability to be inside 50, but he's also got the ability to cover ground and chop out in the ruck when needed. He's your typical stay-at-home type forward. So yeah, he's going to be more of your full forward. His athleticism suits the requirements of a modern-day key position player. McCarthy will likely need to add a good amount of muscle to his frame to compete at AFL level, as I mentioned before. But it will help him be a strong contested marker and aid his durability. And a couple of injury setbacks with his hip and necks stunned McCarthy's progress this year. So yeah, he's still raw. Hopefully he's okay with a neck. Neck's quite serious, so that's going to limit him doing weights, so maybe he's a bit lightly framed due to that. And hopefully he's got a good bout of no runs with injuries. And his neck's all good. He can get back into weights and smash it out. So quite like that. It covers him quite well. I still think it's going to be time before they can play him straight up. But yeah, you never know. I mean, maybe his frame was lightly built a bit because he just didn't get into the weights with the neck issues and the other injuries. And if that clears up and he's back in full amount of training, and weight programs, eating 6 days or 6 meals a day. There's no reason why this guy couldn't debut next year or the year after that. So that holds him up quite well. That explains your forward line guy that you got, Pies fans. And we're going to talk about Angus Anderson. Sturt player. We're going to talk. He was an inside midfielder in his draft year. He's an overage player. Born in 2003. Sorry. Standing at 189 centimeters and 85 kilos. So this is in his draft year. So he's obviously bigger. I'll check that note in a second. What he's grown to. So yeah, this was his draft profile. A big-bodied inside midfielder who thrives at the contest with his opposing size and clean hands and runs the games out well. So another 189 centimetre midfielder that they've got. Sydney Swans Academy captain Angus Anderson put his hat into the ring for the AFL draft and contention that year. And yeah, he had the journey of 3 states and the wealth of experience. The native spent his time in the preseason with the VFL side, Southport Sharks, and also in the Gold Coast in 2021, recapturing the Swans' attention. He's 6 hours away from their academy base. He did a fair share of travelling from remote learning to, when it came to football, to being rewarded with a draft combine invite. Come the season's end off-field, and also with the Swans Academy and the VFL team. While also earning an allied squad selection, Anderson's contested game and work rate among the strengths which have helped him. His strengths are contested game, clean hands, clearances, work rate, size, versatility and composure are what he needs to improve. He's a player of great impact and has made each contest his own. And he likes to be an inner-under player, but also has clean hands and a couple dominant inside traits. He's well developed for 188 centimeters, 85 kilos to hold his own against most players his age. And when it comes to strength, but he's not as reliant on the factor of others with a one-touch handling, and complements his own game with the brawn, strength, and also he's a useful player with the finesse and skill in contested situations and the ability to dish off the ball quickly or pump out the clearances by himself. While inside traits are obvious, arguably Anderson's greatest asset, his work rate is also comes into it. His twofold ability to be a two-way runner, applying the work ethic and on-field and off-field. He's able to work around the ground and tackle hard. His tackles one of his traits, so he's not only able to get in and be an in and under contested possession player, his tackling is quite good as well. His areas of growth is just his versatility. Given his size, he is looking to be a great impact up forward and develop his outside game. Also, an ability to pinch hit in the attack with a solid running capacity and capabilities on the inside. Adding more strings to his bow will help him become a well-rounded player. He needs to be able to impact games in a two-way running aspect and needs to run forward and use the ball better, is what his sort of draft stuff was. But yeah, often the case inside types. Anderson can also work on his composure and disposal and execution, given he finds the ball so much. He sometimes can be caught in a rush to get rid of it. He moves quite well for his size and is clean, but also uses those traits as greater efficiency instead of flicking the ball around by the hands or kick. Instead of kicking it and handballing it straight away, just lower the eyes and look for a target. It's pretty much what they've mentioned here, but he has the potential to be very damaged with the ball if he can get this right. So, so Sydney were delighted that a player of Anderson's standing has still come so strongly, having to have an intermittent contact with the academy player, the VFL and the NAB leagues. That's what the Coates League must have been. Yeah, he was a skipper at the Sydney's under-19s and also his club's leading academy product in 2021. Yeah, he was the only team member of that to get a combine invite. So, yeah, he obviously, didn't quite eventuate for him. And he ended up going to the SANFL. He grew another centimetre, so he is now 190 centimetres. He had 37 league appearances. Says he's age 22, so he's now become a mature age player. He averages about 20 disposals a game. Nearly 5 tackles a game, 5 marks. So yeah, nearly 4 clearances, and averages about 4 inside 50s a game. So it's quite impressive. His best on ground performance in the grand final, seen him have 24 disposals, 16 kicks, and 8 handballs. Also, along with 9 marks and just getting his tackles up as we speak. Yeah, so he only had 3 tackles and then 4 clearances. So yeah, he did quite well. How many goals did he kick? We just grabbed that one up now. Just quickly going through them. No, it doesn't quite say. So yeah, he here we are, goals. He kicked 1 goal. So yeah, that was his best on ground performance. In a tough sort of game. They beat the Bays and they did quite well. So he was the best on ground in the SANFL Grand Final. And that caught the eye of the Collingwood Football Club. And yeah, he's obviously matured a bit more now and become a better player. And yeah, it's quite interesting. So he won the Jack Oatley medal for being winner. So he was the best player on the grand final day in the SANFL grand final. So that's the Jack Oatley medal. Just thought I'd add that in as another fun fact. So that's the medal you get for being the best player on grand final day in the SANFL. And yeah, the Collingwood noticed that, like I mentioned, and they've gone with him, gave him a chance. I just want to clap that, and I like seeing stories like this. I like seeing players come back into the AFL after getting snubbed a bit. He's gone in and put that hard work in. He's put the effort in, and Collingwood have picked themselves up a player who can start straight away, essentially. So I think that's pretty important. That their window is now, and the window will be closing eventually. A lot of people are sort of questioning the A-grade talent that they've got. This guy has obviously got a bit of A-grade talent about him. You don't win a best on ground in a grand final for no reason. And that covers him quite well. So really really happy for the guy. It just shows everyone out there, if you're still playing SANFL, just keep going. Just keep hammering away. Your dream's not over. You got to put the hard work in like this guy did, and people will notice you. So well done, mate. That hard work you've done, you've got yourself drafted, and that's a big thing. You should be proud of yourself, mate. Shout out to you. And shout out to Sturt for helping the guy develop into the player that he is today. And shout out to the Collingwood Football Club for picking him up and giving him a chance. They know talent. There's a reason why they stay quite high up on the ladder. So Jai Saxena, standing at 179 centimetres. He's lightly built, small forward. He has strengths of set shot, goal kicking, footy IQ, agility, rate of development, and also has upside with that. His improvement's obviously strength, field kicking, and consistency. He was Jai was a member of Collingwood's Next Generation Academy, a breakout year with Oakley Chargers. In 2025, after showing traits of a previous season, he secured a top spot in Oakley's front half, and had huge performances with a 23 disposal, 9 marks, and 2 goals in round 2. And also in round 3, he had 17 disposals, 6 marks, and 5 goals. So, yeah, that's not too bad. Must snag a few goals. But that's what he sort of put his name on the map with. And also, he tailed off a bit towards the end of the year. But he also earned himself a Vic Metro spot where he played 2 games for the Big V. He's a lightly bodied talent. Still has a lot of size to fill out and still quite raw in terms of his ability. But he boasts a great football IQ in the front half and moves well and has a dead eye for goal from around the set shot. He also has a lot of upside and looms being a terrific rookie selection for the Magpies. So, yeah, that's covers him quite well. They obviously they had a father-son that they could have picked up, and they didn't go with Thomas McGuan. And, yeah, so father-son play. They had to choose between those two. And they obviously went with Jai. So, yeah, it's quite interesting. They opted against nominating for Thomas McGuan at the National Draft and also overlooked him as a rookie selection. And now the Adelaide Crows, as I mentioned in the previous podcast, he's, moved on to Adelaide. Unfortunately, I just did hear he did injure himself. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks, nothing major, so don't think that's going to hold him back from getting a spot with the Crows. So, they've rated it not too bad. They've sort of knocked them a bit with their picks, but I actually, some of them I don't mind. As a forward talent, they probably could have went with Curtin, who was a bit more developed, if they were looking to get a player that could play pretty quickly. In terms of a replacement player for Mason Cox long term, they've probably done quite well. They've got the tall forward. Could they have went with 2? Could they have maybe just went with one midfielder, 2 rucks, and obviously the overage player that plays in the SNFL, the best Anderson. They could have maybe gone with him as well, picked him, maybe Prinnable, then got a ruck, then got a forward, tall. It's a hard one. I still think they needed 2, just because of their list. Sorry, they're just struggling a bit with the key tools. Mycheck also leaving. Is a hard one too. They do need a centre forward too. So ideally they should have probably grabbed 2 forward line players. So a key tool and a mid height, also a tall forward. So in that bracket of a centre forward mould, Mycheck did play very tall for his size. I thought he marked quite well and would lead up and take contested marks pretty good. But very good lead up player as well. So he'd mark out and he'd run across the half forward line quite well and provide a lot of run. So there's a couple of gaps there for him. I know that Buller comes in, so they do have an extra player. So that there's 2 there that they've got, one through the draft and one through the trades. And whether they add anyone on through the supplementary period, well, they can have players train on with them. So they still might get it. But that, to me, is the role that needs to be covered, Pies fans. I know most of you guys probably know that. But, yeah, just want to talk about the players that you got. And just, yeah, that's the one area I think that they need to work on. And they may have someone next year that they're looking at. So I covered that pretty well today. I hope you enjoyed it, Pies fans. Thank you, everyone. And the next episode's coming soon. Have a good Sunday. Cheers.